Shocking. Absolutely shocking. The biggest star contract extension of the offseason has arrived. Victor Wembanyama has signed a 5-year, $252 million extension. What does this actually mean? This contract represents Wembanyama essentially taking a $50 million pay cut. Wemby currently hasn't met the criteria for the 30% cap max extension, but theoretically, as long as he plays 65 games next season and performs normally, just making one All-Star team would let him upgrade to the 30% cap supermax. That bar isn't hard for Wemby at all, and reportedly the Spurs offered him that option. But he gave up the chance to escalate his salary, an enormous sacrifice, since most rookie-scale max players keep that escalation clause. Given Wembanyama's current level, a 5-year, $252 million deal is basically bargain bin, just a rookie-scale max taking up 25% of the cap. For comparison, the Cavaliers' Evan Mobley could sign a rookie-scale max taking up 30% of the cap. Once Wemby's contract kicks in for 2027-28, he'll make roughly $10 million less per year than Mobley. Cleveland's Donovan Mitchell just signed a 4-year, $273 million extension. Wemby will make over $21 million less than Mitchell. The scale of his pay cut is massive, and compared to other stars, the value of this contract exceeds your imagination. Even if Wemby had simply taken the 30% supermax at 5 years, $303 million, that would still be an absolute robbery. Combining offense and defense, he's the #1 player in the NBA today, and he'll likely be a tier above everyone else next season. A lot of people won't want to admit it, but that's the truth. Forget $252 million or $303 million, even a 5-year, $500 million deal would be worth it. This is a player who just turned 22. Last season, per 36 minutes, he averaged an explosive 31 points, 14.2 rebounds, 3.8 assists, 1.3 steals, and 3.8 blocks. He had the highest usage rate among centers at 32.4%, with the third highest offensive touches and production in the league. In total offensive load per 36 shots, potential assists, and turnovers combined, he ranked second only to Jokic among centers. In offensive versatility, Wembanyama might be the best in the league at 2.26 meters. He can handle a huge on-ball offensive load, had the highest frequency of face-up isolation among centers, and is also the league's most ferocious center in off-ball transition offense. Massive frame, extraordinary talent, elite running and jumping, incredible mobility. Plus, unlimited shooting range. His combination of transition and off-ball movement is downright brutal. He can cut to the rim off the ball or space out for threes, giving him tactical value that exceeds almost every other center. Teammates can run limitless sets around him, and complex off-ball actions all work fine with him involved. Because of his off-ball impact, tactical versatility, and transition ability, his offensive compatibility becomes incredible. He fits with every kind of teammate: tall, short, shooters, non-shooters, rim attackers, half-court players, transition players, all dominant or not, none of it matters. As the tallest player on the floor, he can play on the ball, off the ball, in transition, isolate, run sets, attack the rim, and shoot from deep. He can finish from anywhere. It's this combination of individual scoring ability and unmatched compatibility that makes him so uniquely impactful offensively. On defense, he's even more of an era-defining dominant force. In both the 2025-26 regular season and playoffs, he led the league in blocks per game. In 22 playoff games, he racked up 78 blocks, the third highest single postseason total in NBA history, trailing only Hakeem Olajuwon and Tim Duncan. Many of his blocks are live ball blocks where he retains possession. He also led the league last season in steals per 100 possessions, combined with drawn offensive fouls and recovered blocks. He's the league's rim protection kingpin by a wide margin, not just in block numbers, but in sheer intimidation. Opponents visibly hesitate driving into the paint once they see him there. After removing garbage time, opponents shot 9% worse within 14 feet of the basket when he was on the floor. That's an insane number. And he does it without fouling excessively, keeping the team's overall backline foul rate low. Last season, when he was off the floor, opponents scored 12.3 more points per 100 possessions. His defensive on-off differential was plus 12.3, and his defensive EPM was plus 4.4. His defensive impact was the clear number one in the league, and he alone produced defensive value, matching another player's elite offensive impact, a true 50-50 split. Only Wemby can say that about himself. Combining offense and defense, last season he had essentially already claimed the number one spot in the league. Across the entire season, multiple impact metrics had him at the very top. Among players with over 1,000 regular season minutes, the Spurs outscored opponents by 15.2 points per 100 possessions when he was on the floor, the best on-off number in the league. His RAM was number one, his raw plus-minus was second, and another metric of his was also number one. In the playoffs, his EPM was even more dominant, ranking first, and his cumulative win contribution from EPM was also outright first. They lost the finals to the Knicks, and a lot of people criticized him, but what many don't want to admit is that it's precisely because he was so dominant that he carried this Spurs team to a level they otherwise didn't belong at. Combining regular season and playoffs, Wembanyama was last season's number one player overall. At just 22, he delivered an MVP-caliber regular season and the outright best playoff impact in the league. He made All-NBA and All-Defensive First Team and finished third in Defensive Player of the Year voting. Just turned 22, and he single-handedly carried his team to the finals. Given his level and his age, it wouldn't be an exaggeration for him to earn $100 million a year. Yet he walked away from that, signing a below-market extension at only 25% of the cap. Everyone says Wemby showed noble character, that he read the situation wisely, that he sacrificed for the greater good all fair points, since Spurs legends have done this before. Tim Duncan took a cumulative pay cut of roughly $50 million over his career. Manu Ginóbili took 4 separate voluntary pay cuts totaling about $30 million. Tony Parker took 3, giving up roughly $30 million as well. Selfless sacrifice was the key to how the GDP trio built 2 decades of Spurs dynasty glory. Wemby signing below market at 22 is a continuation of that tradition. In today's league, a team can't contend without contract surplus somewhere on the roster. The Knicks window exists partly because Jalen Brunson only earns about $30-some million a year. The Thunder won last year because of rookie-scale surplus from Skay and Chet Holmgren. In 2024, the Celtics won because Tatum and Brown's combined salary took up only 47% of the cap. Once their new deals pushed that to 70%, the team got far less competitive. The Warriors dynasty also ran on Curry's rookie-scale surplus. Sometimes a championship isn't decided by the coach, GM, or players, it's decided by salary structure. Wemby taking only 25% of the cap means giving up about $10 million a year, enough to sign a playoff caliber. Do everything role player. It keeps the Spurs payroll below the first luxury tax apron, likely securing them a $15 million full mid-level exception next season. Without that exception, there's no way they land someone like Tobias Harris this summer, a guy who plays the 3 or 4, shoots, creates his own shot, and can even defend centers like Towns. Giving up that money also makes it more feasible to retain both Castle and Harper. People think $10 million isn't a big deal, but over the past 30 years, the Spurs have paid a cumulative total of only about $17.5 million in luxury tax. That extra $10 million can be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Just ask the Thunder. Ask Durant and Harden. Back in 2011-12, Durant triggering the Rose Rule and taking 30% of the cap indirectly led to Harden eventually leaving Oklahoma City. The Spurs and Wemby don't want to repeat that mistake. Harper and Castle both still have unlimited ceilings, and as long as the Wemby-Castle-Harper trio stays together, that's essentially this era's version of the GDP trio, potentially locking in a decade of championship contention. Wemby's pay cut is forward planning, proactively securing the Spurs' championship core. As we said, he's genuinely a priceless treasure, basically the King Tutankhamun death mask of NBA players. He might be worth $100 million, but he's only taking home $40-50 million a year. The Spurs now have the biggest contract surplus in the league. On the court, he's compatible with everything on offense and defense, off the court. His rookie-scale deal is compatible with everything too. It even offsets some of the drag from Fox's bad contract. He's the most compatible player in the NBA in every sense. The Spurs have plenty of other surplus contracts too. Stephon Castle's recent extension is a bargain. Harper, Carter, and Barlow are all still on rookie deals, and their new interior rookie, Terrace Reed, is someone I'm personally very high on. Tobias Harris at around $15 million is also an excellent value signing. Even with Fox's bad contract dragging things down, Wembanyama and his teammates still give this roster plenty of surplus value. Next season, and the season after, the Spurs will remain an absolute top-tier team. Lastly, Wemby himself is just an incredible person. I'd bet even on a different franchise without the Spurs tradition, he'd still take a pay cut because he loves basketball too much and wants to win too badly. At such a young age, he already carries leadership presence, understands sacrifice for the bigger picture, isn't afraid to voice his ambitions publicly, and his standards for himself and control of the locker room increasingly resemble a Jordan or Kobe-style intensity. His body language tells the world one thing: winning is everything to him. I love players like this. A strong culture forges strong players, while a weak culture only makes you weaker over time. And this pay cut absolutely won't be the last of his career, just wait and see. If you enjoyed this video, please like and follow, and I'll see you in the next one.